Greetings everybody, Sive is here with the Forex Peace Army.com. Let's keep going with the analysis of the euro currency. So you can see that situation starts changing slowly. It's mostly because the background is also changing. The major driver right now is the recent statements of the Donald Trump, who said that we will distribute the $2,000 to every citizen. First it was suggested that it should be in cash, but later Scott Bessent said that it probably will be in a way of the tax cut, whatever, but we just would like to distribute some tariffs that we have accumulated among the people. That's the first moment, which is actually has been treated kind of the quantitative easing, although it's just moving the cash from one pocket to another. But traders have actually treated this positively. Second, which is more important, is that Donald Trump has made an announcement that probably the consensus on the continuation of the government job should be achieved in recent time. So the shutdown should be over. And this is more serious statement because in this case, United States Treasury once again could start spending money, which they accumulated about $1 trillion. As you can see, that really could boost their money supply in a moment inside the United States system, not only in the United States and in general global financial system, which should theoretically drop the dollar, at least on the short term, just because the money amount of the United States dollar will increase. Second, just because the end of the shutdown will be some kind of the relief in this topic where market were accumulating some dollars as a safe haven. So that should be unwound, and actually that could lead to some weakness in the dollar. That's at least what we have from the background. On the technical side, situation is not as clear. So because formally the bearish grab, despite that we have the bullish trend already on the daily chart, bearish grabbers still exist. And nominally, although I am gravitating more to the bullish background here to treat this performance as a bullish, nominally we still have the bearish pattern and we can't ignore it. So because all this stories from the Donald Trump are really great, but just imagine what will happen if none of them will be realized, which has actually happened too often in recent times. So personally, I'm actually stopping already reading the Donald Trump because all that he said is working for 1-2 days maximum. So after that, everything is turning in the opposite direction, and actually either it's big changes to what he said, or actually he cancels what he said previously, and so on. So that's why it will be naive to treat all the statements that he has made as a reality. So definitely will happen in years' time. So, and that really makes it very difficult to make a decision because, as I said, on the daily chart we have bearish context here with this grabber. But if you take a look on the phone time frame chart, you could see that here's probably we could treat it as a bullish context, just because market stands in a tight range, has formed a bullish grabber, and usually a combination of the dropping of the MACD together with the sideways action is also a sign of the accumulating of the power. Maybe it will not lead to some explosive breakout, but at least this is a bullish sign, so that could lead to some upper direction here. Besides, on the hourly chart, you could see the market is forming kind of the triangle consolidation together with the grabber on the bottom. That's probably might be treated at least as a minor upside pattern. So for example, butterfly easily could be formed here if we suggest that this is true. So with these potential targets, 116 for instance, 116.20, this minimum target already, although actually this pattern might be just the starting point. So, and what are we going to do in the current circumstances? Well, there's a few solutions exist. So, of course, you could choose what you like more because currently both patterns are valid and both mostly suggest on the external factors. So, in fact, if you would like to trade right now on your currency, you make a bet on the results of the two different events, the shutdown and distribution of the cash, or at least the shutdown. So distribution, maybe it's not so as important right now, but end of the shutdown, this market is preparing. So if you do not believe it, you could try to follow the bearish grabber with it moving, with it trying to take position as close to the stop as possible, because this is invalidation point of the bearish grabber. The same is true for the bullish one. So if you suggest that all this stuff will happen, then probably you could try to buy somewhere close to these lows. Right, so if you would like to make a bet on particular grabber, here we also could find some consensus. Obviously, whatever grabber will start forming, will start working, it will be accompanied with some breakout. And maybe it makes sense if you still do not want to wait for certainty, you would like to make some activity today in this trading process. In such circumstances, when you have a clear patterns but direction is not definite, you could try to use one cancel other orders, some kind of the stop entry orders. For instance, you could place two stop orders, one stop buy, so somewhere closer to this area, say very close to invalidation point of the bearish grabber. Right, so you will be in the market when, and if market will reach this level, start making an attempt to break it up. Your order will be filled and you get the long position. And together with a stop sell order closer to the lows of this grabber. In case of the downside breakout, you will get the bearish position. So both of them are not related to each other. So if one will work, you could cancel the other, or it will be just will not be filled. So that's some kind of the compromise in the current circumstances. Because currently I do not see any other option that you could actually use in current situation, because both patterns are still valid, and actually we do not have some clear advantage on one or another side, especially because everything depends on external factors. It's not just some technical factors or something like this. Or as usual, you could wait for some certainty. Maybe you will find some other options to follow. So that's actually what we have currently in euro currency. Not quite stable situation. On cross-market analysis, I also do not see something really new. In Great British Pound, we could see some starting with the downside action here. So my market maybe start forming the right arm with this big pattern that we're considering. So if you like it more, maybe it makes sense to turn to some other currencies, watching for example, the Great British Pound. Here may be more interesting signals to be formed, something like this. But unfortunately, that's all that we could do currently. So let's just see what will happen. In general, by looking at all this stuff, I'm gravitating more still to some kind of the bullish background. But it may be just because of the most recent type of action. Everything depends on the news that will be released on these two subjects that Donald Trump has announced. So that's all for now. See you tomorrow.